and welcome back to Why Such a Fast podcast. We also have James with us today from UpTech. Hi, James.
Hi, Christina. Thanks for having me back.
Excellent. Great to have you back. Okay, so James, today's topic is about working from home. So what are the things that organizations and employers should be aware of when they allow their members of staff to work from home? So from a GDPR perspective, security is important. Having a secure VPN is definitely a must. Also, the security rules an organization has, they still apply. So such as pick up printing immediately, locking the computer screen when moving away from the desk, making sure that the employee are there to declare desk policy, and also being aware of their environment. Now, what do I mean by being aware of their environment? Why should they be worrying about picking up the printing immediately, locking the screen when they're moving away from the desk? After all, they are at home. Well, unless they live alone, there would be other members of the household in the home. They do not have the authority or the permission to access that data. And therefore, the person working from home needs to be vigilant and needs to respect and adhere to the security policy of the organization. If your workstation is in an open environment, in an open room, such as a lounge or a kitchen where there is traffic from other members of the household, then you should be aware that if there is someone else in the room, to lock your screen, to cover your screen, and to put away or to pick up your printing. And then at the end of the day, when you finished your working, then switch off the computer. Don't leave it open. So if you have the ability to dedicate a room of your house to your working space, then again, at the end of the day, turn the computer off and then close the door and make sure that you put everything away. Make sure that everybody knows that that room is off limit, especially if you have children. If you have a way of locking it, that it's even better. Why not ask your employer to provide you with lockable cabinet or drawers if you have data on paper, so that they can be securely put away. If you are a small business and you're working from home yourself, then again, consider having a lockable cabinet or drawers for the data that it's in paper. Another thing to remember is privacy, which still extend to the workplace and also working from home. We have to remember that privacy is a fundamental human right. We all have that right, and it's expected. So privacy is expected in the workplace and also when working from home. And if you remember, during the pandemic, we saw employers insisting that employees had the video on while on a Zoom or Team call, for example, so that they could be monitored. Now, not only this is total disrespect for their home life, but also their privacy. And that led to additional functionality being added to the Zoom and Team, for example, software, like blurring the background or being able to change the background behind you. Those were added because of that. What is your take on this, James?
Thanks, Christina. I think with the dynamic nature of cybersecurity and that evolving nature now, we were kind of thrust into it very hardly thanks to the pandemic. Some people did work from home, but it was very new to a lot of people, and a lot of businesses had to adapt, and there was a lot of things that people weren't able to consider, which then raised the flags and raised questions with the NCSE and IASME. And you've touched on a number of those points already. But from a technical perspective, simple things that we can do first off. If you're with a standard provider for their home broadband, Sky, BT, TalkTalk, and you've taken the home router from them, make sure you can log into it and change the username and password, because they were all the same. There's 2 or 3 different options. They don't have multiple layers of protection on them. If a VPN or the virtual network is not required for connecting into a server, but if you're connecting remotely into a server, you should be using a VPN. Absolutely, 100%. Shouldn't just be using an RDP connection or something like that. That should be VPN'd. If you're completely cloud-based, everything running through the web, my strongest advice would be create a secondary network, so that you've got a second network that is for your home. Doesn't mean having a second broadband, it just means splitting it. Now that can either be done again through the router if it has the capability, or use a secondary router, plugging that in, changing some settings. I'd get an IT person to do that for you. But it certainly helps you then provide a second loop. Consider, because of the other things that can be connected on your device. So when you're at home, if you've got children, you're likely to have an Xbox, likely to have mobile phones, likely to have lots of things that are connecting to the Wi-Fi. Now, you don't know what else is being searched. You don't know what else is being clicked on. You don't know what else is being looked at. Separate it out so that your work environment is completely different. From an employer's point of view, awareness and training. Make sure your members of staff know what they need to be doing when working from home. Like you said, Christina, what does the data protection look like? What does it need to be? Don't expect that your employee knows all these things. They need to be able to feel that what they're doing is correct and that they know that what they're doing. So being able to work on that. Make sure there's strong authentication. Get your MFA turned on. Make sure there's multiple routes of checking these things for having connections into a server and into your business. And make sure your data's backed up. If you're allowing members of staff to take laptops, tablets, even desktops home, where's your encryption? Yeah. Because once it's out in the open space, where is your encryption? So they're the kind of things that we would be looking at from a technical perspective. I'm currently working from home now. I am on a separate network to my other one. So I've been through the process of cabling that in, putting another router in, doing that side of things. I'm on an encrypted device. If I need to log into the server in the office, I've got to connect to a VPN. Otherwise, you cannot attach to it. And I have to go through MFA to get into all of my different accounts. And it doesn't affect the way I work at all.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm a small business. I work from home. I'm lucky that I can dedicate a room in my house to my work. But, my member of the household, they know that this room is off limits. So, so those are the things that we have to do. And like you, I've got encryption, I've got cybersecurity, I've got, all security, technical as well as physical security, to ensure that the data is protected. Well, thank you very much, James, for joining us today. If you would like to know more about GDPR and how it applies to your business, we can be reached at info@cvgsolutions.co.uk. You can also find us on social media. Just search for CVG Solutions. We are on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Or you can visit our website, cvgsolutions.co.uk. And if you would like to know more about cybersecurity and IT, please contact James at Uptech. Again, you can find him on LinkedIn, James Fowler, or just Google uptech.co.uk. Cheers. Thank you very much, everybody. Speak to you soon. Bye, James.
Bye, Christina. Thanks very much.